Hi everyone! Since the last DoVi.Scripts installation tutorial is quite old and a bit outdated, I decided to make a new one. This video will guide you through the installation process, and after that, I'll also show you exactly what each workflow can do. First, you need to download the script along with the full tools pack to your PC. These contain all the required components and dependencies, so make sure you grab both before moving on to the next steps. Download all the required external software one by one. Each of these is needed for a specific part of the workflow, so make sure every dependency is downloaded before continuing. Python from the Microsoft Store is also required, so you need to install it from there as well. Make sure it's properly installed before proceeding, since the scripts rely on it to run correctly. Now that you've downloaded all the required software and tools, extract the zip file to a location on your PC. Choose a simple path with full access, as this folder will be used throughout the rest of the setup process. The password is the zip file name, and it is case sensitive. Make sure to enter it exactly as written, including any capital letters, or the extraction will fail. Make sure the folder name and the path you choose do not contain any spaces or special characters. Installing the script on the OS drive will work, but it is not recommended, so it's better to use a different drive if possible. Now proceed with the installation of the software. Start with Python, then install LAV filters, and finally AviSynth Plus. Now go into the Tools folder, then open the madVR folder and launch the install bat file with administrative rights. If you already have madVR installed elsewhere on your PC, you can skip this step, unless the version you're using is not the beta release.
Click on the Windows Start menu, type LAV, and open the LAV filters configuration. Once it's open, configure it exactly as shown in the following steps. Otherwise, the brightness measurer in Workflow 6.2 might not work properly. Install the required Python libraries by opening a command prompt window and copy-pasting the following commands. While most workflows, including the most critical ones, can function without them, many other workflows rely on these libraries. Installing them now is quick and ensures everything runs smoothly later. If your PC reports missing DLL errors, it's most likely because the Microsoft Visual Redistributable is not installed. Download and install it, then restart the application and try again. I recommend upgrading to the latest beta version, as it's constantly updated and new features are available much faster than waiting for an official release. The beta.bat file is linked directly to my PC, and every single change to the script is uploaded automatically. This is the version I personally use. To upgrade, simply overwrite the existing bat file with the new one. That's it, you're all set and can start using DoVi.Scripts. The .bat file name determines the video container, so use the version with MKV in the file name for MKV output, MP4 for MP4, and TS for TS. There is also a GUI version of the script. It can do practically everything the CLI version can do, minus a few advanced features. Optionally, you can edit the script's default settings to better suit your needs. I recommend using Notepad++ for better readability, but the default Windows Notepad will also work. Just open the .dot file in your text editor and you'll see the script's raw code, where all configurable options are defined. Each setting is commented and explained directly in the file, so take the time to read what each one does before making any changes, as some options can affect the behavior of multiple workflows.
The script's default output path is the installation folder, but you can change it to any path you want on your PC. I personally use a different drive for the output and temp folder path, as it speeds up the processing a lot. Here you can see all the muxing options the script offers, covering the different containers and configurations supported by each workflow. Screenshot settings, allowing you to change the SDR tone mapping behavior, the number of frames to export, or the auto mode frame interval, along with many other available options. This is the encoder options section, where you can change the compression factor and overall quality, as well as select which encoder to use. The script supports X265, X264, and NVIDIA GPU encoding. And finally, the script's advanced settings. The .bat file and the tools folder must remain in the same installation folder for the script to work correctly. However, you can optionally create a shortcut, assign a custom icon, and pin that shortcut to the taskbar for quicker and easier access to the script. Once you launch the script, you may see warnings about missing tools that aren't included in the tool pack I provide. These warnings are generally not critical. The script will still run correctly, though a few functions may be inaccessible. You can easily download and install any missing tools by following these steps. For the EAE folder, you need to install the Plex Media Server and copy the required files from Plex into the EAE folder. You can find the Easy Audio Encoder EXE through the provided link. Once the necessary files are copied, Plex Media Server can be uninstalled. The first workflow is the one that handles all the injecting and editing using two sources, the video base layer and the metadata layer. You can simply drag and drop both inputs into the script, then choose whether or not to edit the metadata before performing the injection. The script supports a wide range of input types, so your video and metadata can be in any commonly recognized formats. This workflow gives you full control over the injection process, while keeping everything straightforward and flexible. Workflow 1 also supports batch processing, allowing you to input an entire folder of video files and a corresponding folder of metadata files. The files in both folders just need to be in the same order. The script will take the first video and inject or edit the first metadata file, then proceed to the next pair, continuing until all files in the folders are processed. If you choose to edit the metadata, the same edits will be applied to all metadata files in the batch, making it easy to handle multiple files consistently. Workflow 1 can also work with just a single input. When you skip the second input, the script enters editor mode, allowing you to make many adjustments directly to the metadata. This mode also serves as a quick information viewer for your file, displaying almost instantly important details, such as the HDR profile, MEL versus FEL, L5, L6, and much more. It's a fast and convenient way to both inspect and modify metadata without needing a separate metadata file. The script can also be used simply by dropping a file onto the .bat file. If a metadata file exists with the same file name and path as the video input, the script will automatically detect and use it. This editor mode also supports batch processing, allowing you to quickly view and adjust metadata for multiple files at once.
Workflow 2.1 can extract any Dolby Vision or HDR10 Plus metadata, identify scene cuts, and index the video. This allows you to accurately verify that the dynamic metadata is properly synchronized with the video, ensuring precise playback and analysis. Workflow 2.2 allows you to remove either Dolby Vision or HDR10 Plus metadata without altering the video itself. However, it cannot remove Dolby Vision from Profile 5, as doing so would require re-encoding the video. Workflow 2.3 can also transfer metadata or scene cuts from one Dolby Vision video or metadata file to another video. It supports transferring any Dolby Vision level and can even upgrade CMV 2.9 metadata to CMV 4.0 from a different source. The workflow will output the scene cut differences in a text file, allowing you to verify that the sync between the two sources is correct. If it isn't, the metadata transfer will be incorrect and visual defects will appear during playback. This workflow should only be used if you know what you're doing, and I recommend watching my more in-depth tutorial on this topic before attempting it. Workflow 2.4 can export the dynamic level 5 offset for movies with changing aspect ratios. The generated JSON file is useful for double-checking your work from software like DaVinci Resolve, or for editing metadata more precisely and correcting any errors. Workflow 2.5 can export dynamic metadata scene cuts to a timecode EDL file that can be imported into DaVinci Resolve. This is useful for using the original scene cuts when performing a new Dolby Vision analysis or grading workflow in Resolve.
Workflow 2.7 can analyze your video library very quickly and generate a text file listing all the Dolby Vision relevant info for each file, making it easy to review your collection. Workflow 2.8 is a simple analysis tool that allows you to identify and compare scene cut differences between two sources, helping you quickly spot discrepancies in editing.
Workflow 3.1 uses the official Dolby Vision software to generate true shot-by-shot or frame-by-frame metadata. These tools are not included with DoVi.Scripts by default, so you must obtain the required files yourself, as shown earlier in the installation section of this video. It supports any HDR10 input, however, HEVC sources will be converted to ProRes for the metadata generation, since Dolby CM Analyze does not support HEVC decoding. Be aware that this process can take a very long time due to a known decoding bug with Apple ProRes, and it may be even slower on AMD systems. This workflow uses madVR to generate scene cuts by default, but you can also provide external shot lists, such as HDR10 plus scene cuts or cuts extracted from existing Dolby Vision metadata. This workflow also supports batch processing. You can either use the same settings for all videos or create an external .bat file for each video in the folder. If you choose the latter, just make sure each .bat file is renamed to match the corresponding video input exactly.
Workflow 3.2 is another method for generating Dolby Vision metadata from HDR10 videos, but instead of using the official Dolby tools, it relies on madVR to create shot-by-shot metadata. This workflow can also convert HDR10 Plus to Dolby Vision when the input already contains HDR10 Plus metadata. It is significantly faster than the CM Analyze workflow, but it also produces lower quality results, so it's best suited for quick conversions or testing rather than final high-quality metadata. Workflow 4.1 can remix and convert Dolby Vision Profile 7 Blu-ray discs or MKV rips to Profile 8, completely discarding the enhancement layer. If the Dolby Vision stream contains a full enhancement layer, the script will display a warning about possible incorrect output. Refer to the Excel list for details. This workflow also supports RPU input. Workflow 4.2 can create a single-track, dual-layer rip from an original dual-track, dual-layer source. It also supports raw HEVC inputs. This workflow should only be used for specific use cases, as while the output will always be correct, the way it operates makes the process much slower than using software like MakeMKV.
Workflow 4.3 is mostly oriented toward users with Blu-ray players, such as Oppo and Sony, which can have issues playing single-track, dual-layer Profile 7 rips. This workflow will demux the Dolby Vision layers and create a new dual-track, dual-layer Profile 7 rip that is properly playable on Oppo and Sony players. This workflow is not really intended for the MKV version of the script, since Blu-ray players obviously don't support MKV, but rather for the TS or MP4 versions, which are compatible with these players. Workflow 5 is a basic battery muxer for TS, MP4, or MKV containers. There's nothing particularly special about this workflow. It's designed for simple and efficient remuxing. The input can be either a single video file or an entire folder of files, making it convenient for quick batch operations. Workflow 6.1 can measure video letterboxing either automatically or manually. The automatic mode is convenient, but not always 100% accurate, so for best results it's recommended to use this workflow in manual mode with the help of AVSP mod. I recommend zooming to 400% in AVSP mod when measuring the letterbox. Using this method, it's practically impossible to miscalculate the black bar offsets in pixels.
Workflow 6.2 can measure the brightness of any HDR video, including profile 5 titles. It uses madVR's highly accurate pixel measurement, and you also have the option to exclude the letterbox from the analysis to obtain more accurate max file metadata. Keep in mind that cropping significantly slows down the process. This workflow also accepts RPU, XML, or JSON inputs. This workflow supports batch processing.
Workflow 6.3 can plot Dolby Vision Level 1 metadata only in a simple and clear way. This workflow also supports batch processing, allowing you to analyze and visualize Level 1 metadata for multiple files at once. Workflow 6.4 works similarly to Workflow 6.3, but in addition to plotting Dolby Vision Level 1 metadata, it can also plot the Dolby Vision trim pass. This workflow also supports batch processing, allowing multiple files to be analyzed and visualized at once. Workflow 6.5 can plot Dolby Vision levels 4, 5, and 6. Since levels 5 and 6 are usually static metadata, this workflow is rarely needed, but it can be useful for inspecting or verifying level 4 and static metadata when required. Workflow 6.6 can plot HDR10 Plus metadata for visualization and analysis. It is also used to extract HDR10 Plus metadata from a video file and save it to a JSON file for further use or processing. Workflow 6.7 can plot the bitrate of any video and generate basic statistics about it, giving you a clear overview of the video's compression and data rate throughout the file. Workflow 6.8 can plot audio waveforms for a variety of formats. It supports standard 2.0, 5.1, and 7.1 bed channels, as well as Dolby Atmos with up to 16 channels. Dolby Digital Plus Atmos can also be plotted, but this requires the cavernized software to work properly. Workflow 7.1 can export full enhancement and regular HDR10 screenshots, either in HDR or tone map to SDR. You have the option to export frames automatically or manually, depending on your workflow needs. This workflow requires an NVIDIA GPU. Workflow 7.2 can export HDR or tone-mapped SDR screenshots from up to 20 different inputs. Even if the inputs aren't perfectly frame-synced, the script supports delays, making it easy to compare different Blu-ray releases in various formats. This workflow also offers many options for tone mapping and on-screen display. Simply open the .bat file in Notepad and adjust the settings to your preference. Check out the previous tutorial for better understanding of how this workflow functions. Workflow 7.3 can export screenshots automatically or manually from HDR video files and generate heat maps and gamut visualizations. It supports Profile 7 full enhancement layer and Profile 5 Dolby Vision content. Additionally, this workflow can also process PNG images for analysis. Workflow 7.4 is one of my favorite workflows. It can take any Dolby Vision video and create a metadata tone mapping comparison for any frame, either selected manually or automatically. This workflow lets you see exactly how Dolby Vision tone mapping affects the image, both with level 1 only and with the trim pass, on any display capable of processing Dolby Vision metadata.
Workflow 7.5 is another one of my favorite workflows. Similar to Workflow 7.4, it can create video comparisons between playing the full enhancement layer and playing Dolby Vision without FEL. This workflow clearly shows the difference between playing a Profile 7 FEL rip on a device that can decode it versus a device that cannot, such as the NVIDIA Shield. You can select frames manually or automatically for the comparison. I've already created many examples. Check out the Google Drive link for reference. Workflow 7.7 allows you to play Profile 7 full enhancement layer and Profile 5 Dolby Vision content in players like MPC with madVR. This workflow does not process the dynamic metadata, and it requires a very powerful PC to handle playback smoothly. It also includes additional options for using the MPV player for playback.
Workflow 8.1.1 allows you to convert audio to Dolby Digital Plus with support for up to 8 channels, provided you have set up the Easy Audio Encoder and Plex files as demonstrated earlier in this tutorial. Workflow 8.1.2 can add an AC3 core to any TrueHD audio track, whether it's a silent, existing, or encoded core. This is specifically intended for Oppo and Sony Blu-ray players, which do not support TrueHD playback without an AC3 core. Workflow 8.1.3 can encode TrueHD Atmos audio to Dolby Digital Plus Atmos. This workflow requires the paid Dolby encoding engine software to function.
Workflow 821 can encode any HDR source while preserving Dolby Vision metadata. It fully supports Profile 7 with full enhancement layer with the Dolby Vision Baker. The workflow allows encoding with X265 or NVIDIA GPU, and all encoding settings are fully customizable to suit your needs. Additionally, this workflow has a lesser-known mode that can create looped samples from any video in any frame, making it easy to generate Dolby Vision vs HDR10 comparison clips. I've already created hundreds of these samples, which I've used in many of my YouTube videos. Workflow 822 can encode any HDR source and tone map it to SDR using libplacebo. All tone mapping settings are fully customizable, allowing precise control over the SDR output to match your desired look. Workflow 823 can encode any source to a lossless intermediate format, so quality intermediate files for further processing or grading. Workflow 824 can deliver any trim pass from a Dolby Vision video. It uses the official Dolby Vision Professional tools to export the trim pass to an intermediate ProRes file, with options for SDR at 48 or 100 nits, and HDR at 300, 600, 1000, or 2000 nits.
Workflow 825 can take an SDR BT709 video and place it into an HDR BT2020 container using an intermediate ProRes format. This workflow is intended for regrading purposes, as the output will be limited to 100 nits HDR. Workflow 826 can encode any HDR source to Dolby Vision Profile 5 using the paid Dolby encoding engine.
This workflow accepts any lossless input format, such as JPEG 2000 or ProRes. HEVC input must first be converted to lossless ProRes, as DEE does not support HEVC decoding. It's designed to work with studio mezzanine files. Workflow 827 is a compression efficiency script designed to analyze different HEVC encoding settings, such as adaptive quantization strength, helping you choose the best settings for the type of content you are encoding. This workflow lets you select multiple AQ strength values, tests each one, and exports corresponding lossless HDR screenshots, allowing you to pixel peep and compare the results directly.
Workflow 9.1 can quickly and automatically detect frame differences between two videos. While the script can identify differences in about 60% of cases, you should not rely solely on the numbers it outputs. Instead, go to the folder where all the scene-cut images were exported, locate the corresponding frames for each video, and manually calculate the differences for accurate results.
Sometimes the automatic detection won't work. For example, if the movie starts with a very long credit sequence or a long continuous shot without scene cuts. Since the script relies on scene cuts to detect differences, you may need to manually find the frame differences using AVSP mod. This workflow also indexes both inputs to ensure frame-accurate reading in MPC, which cannot be reliably achieved in direct show media players like MPC, MPV, or VLC.
Workflow 9.2 can modify any video or text-based subtitle files. It supports batch processing and can also adjust a video's color range, making it useful for bulk edits or color corrections alongside subtitle modifications. Workflow 9.3 can create samples based on a previously configured timestamp, allowing you to quickly generate consistent clips or frames from specific points in a video. Workflow 9.4 is a simple utility workflow that can determine the total frame count of any video.
Workflow 9.5 can reduce the brightness of image-based subtitles when they appear too bright in HDR content. It works only with PGS subtitles that use the .sup extension and also supports batch processing for handling multiple files at once. The default brightness level is 60%, but can be configured in the script settings. Workflow 9.6 can check audio tracks for dial norm metadata and simply display the results, making it easy to verify whether dial norm is present and how it's set. Workflow 9.7 can list and identify the correct movie playlist from a Blu-ray disc folder structure, helping you quickly find the main feature among the available playlists. Workflow 9.8 can convert any 12-bit PQ value to nits, or convert a nits value back to a 12-bit PQ value, making it useful for precise HDR analysis and metadata work. Workflow 9.9 can edit HDR10 static metadata, including color primaries, mastering display metadata, max CLL, and max fall, allowing precise adjustments without re-encoding the video.